Good afternoon, Sandro. Hope you're doing well.
Good
Big
afternoon.
midweek matchup against Charlotte FC. Obviously, top goal scorer or their top threat is Patrick Agyemang. Obviously, he was called up to the U.S. men's national team for the upcoming June friendlies and possible Gold Cup roster. What do you need to do to prevent him from being such a dangerous player for you guys over on Wednesday?
Yeah, I agree. He's a very good striker, especially with his deep runs behind the center backs. And I think in this situation, we have to be ready when we have not the highest pressure on the ball that we drop back with our line. And but it starts always with our pressure, with our intensity on the ball. But he's ready. He's always ready, especially with his deep runs. And in this case, we have to defend very well.
Next, you go to Christian.
Hi, good afternoon, Coach.
Good
Can you
afternoon.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, thank you for your time. I wanted to ask you on Marcelo Morales. He played 60 minutes with New York Rebels too. Just how important it is for him to get back in a competitive match after 6 months, and also possibly a date for his debut.
Yeah, it's very important because after his long-term injury and to come physically in a very good spot, not only with individual sessions and with a little bit team training session, and also to get minutes in a 11 against 11 on the whole field. So it's very important. And he did it very well the last game against Columbus with the second team. And but we have to be ready. We have to be careful with him as well, not then to take the risk directly in our roster. So the plan is clear that he will play on Friday with the second team to get then some minutes, and after that we have a national break. Then we are coming in our rhythm with our team training session, and then hopefully he's then ready after the national break.
Next, you go to Gary.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sean Nealis, of course, Eli will be returning from his suspension. Morgan and of course Goma. Will they be seeing some minutes in this match, or you want to be careful with them and save them for like a later date versus Atlanta?
Yeah, different points from the individual side from the players. So it's clear Noah Eile and John Nealis, they are in our roster. We have to decide tomorrow with our starting lineup who will be ready then, if we are doing rotations, or is it the same starting lineup or similar the starting lineup like against DC United. It's always the same question with Lewis Morgan. Without team training session, without highest loads, or only individual team training session. Yesterday we had a small group in our team training. We will have later a medical appointment. So this is what we have to discuss. If it makes sense that he's an option tomorrow on the bench, or don't take the risk. This is what we have to take later. And but what is clear is Serge and Gomar will be in our roster, and then we will see if he gets some minutes tomorrow.
Next, you go to Dan.
Just to go back on Mohamed Sofo, obviously you're very happy with his performance against DC, especially against FC Dallas in the Open Cup. This was the first time he's converted goals in consecutive matches, regardless if it's league play or in all competitions. How happy are you with his performance and now his progress this season? And does that make it difficult for you when Lewis does come back into the starting 11 to try and integrate both him and Sofo in the starting 11?
Yeah, we will see. We will see how we handle then the situation when Lewis is ready, and he's a very important player for us, of course, Lewis Morgan. How we handle then the starting lineup, the situation, but to be honest, this is then more a topic after the national break. I'm pretty sure though, when we decide Lewis Morgan is an option, but then not directly in a starting lineup. But Sofo did it very well since beginning of our preseason this year, and in our training session, in the games, to play with a lot of confidence in a one against one situation, to believe for himself in the situation in the final third, and to be very aggressive, to play very intensive in our and our faces against the ball. So it's a very, very good progress, and this is the result from all the coaches, from second team coaches, from our coaching staff, and it's a good result to see him now in the first team consistently in his performance.
Next we go to Christian.
Hello again, Coach. You mentioned national break. Has there been, due to his form right now with Emil Forsberg, has Sweden reserved a spot for him, and also for Chupo, since he's been one of the best players on the team as well?
Yeah, we will see what happened then in the national break. But now is, to be honest, is tomorrow main focus. We have an important week after our win against DC United. But now is our main focus to be ready for tomorrow against a very, very good opponent, Charlotte. They played very well especially against Columbus in their home match. So main focus, main part is now tomorrow, Charlotte. After that is then the focus for Atlanta. But now we have to keep the concentration in the highest level, and also then our intensity on the field.
Go back to Dan.
What changes in Charlotte have you seen in the film that made them a lot stronger and better this season than compared to last year?
Yeah, I would say they were last year also very, very well. So it's a similar structure, but now with a little bit more individual quality, especially with the winger players. Then Agyemang as a striker is very dangerous in some spots. Clear structure, clear identity, what you can see from their head coach, clear philosophy. So I would say they were also very successful last year. And yeah, it's similar structure what I said, and we need everything in our style of play. It's when we are only playing with 90% or 95% that it's very difficult to win a game in this league, and especially then against Charlotte. So we need everything in our quality with the highest level of energy.
Next we go to Gary.
Coach, you talk about the energy, able to keep that going from game to game. Would you see that as sort of a challenge within the group, that, you know, especially we have so many games coming at you and you got to reset, start over again, how much is that a challenge for the group? Or is it, you know, from what I'm seeing, just taking it in stride, they seem to keep, you know, charging right through. But I just want to know, in your mind's eye, is that a challenge for you and your group, or not at all?
No, we don't. I don't want to mention it the whole time in our group. Okay, now that we don't think about too much about all the games which we played. Of course, now it's we played in this month 7 games, 14 press conference. So, but I would say we are ready. And I said this after the DC United game. We are physically in a very good spot, and of course, this is my responsibility to handle the load of the players, what it makes sense tomorrow for the starting lineup, what it makes sense for Saturday. But so I'm convinced about that we will have a starting lineup tomorrow that is able to play physical, to play intensive, and this is the basic. This is what we need, and of course now we have 2 games, 4 days now to go in this month, and not to think about is it now difficult or something like that? No, it's not difficult. So you can create in every duel, in every passing, in every finish, what you are doing on the field, you can create a good feeling for yourself, for the whole team, and this is what we need for tomorrow.
Next we go to Christian.
Hello again, Coach. I wanted to ask you on Felipe Carvalho's status. He was unavailable last weekend. Just what is his progress at the moment?
Yeah, his progress is so also a question if he's ready tomorrow, and this is also a point for later in our medical appointment. Yeah, we will see. He I would say 50-50 the chance for tomorrow, but we will see. This is now what we have to answer later. The question he had individual training and a little bit with our group training session, but we will see if he's ready then tomorrow.
Next we go to Dan.
And just to follow up with what Christian was asking, would that mean maybe Ronald Doncourt might get a start in this one on tomorrow or maybe Saturday if you do rotation?
Yeah, we will see if we are doing rotations. Of course, then Ronnie is is a player then who can play in our starting lineup. And but for him was also very difficult now. He's not in the trainings with him. He had a private issue last couple of last week or 10 days ago, and but when we are doing the rotation tomorrow, then he's a very, very good option as a sixth position, of course.